In a hybrid math class, sometimes we don't get to cover all the examples during lecture because we have half the time. So I will try to record the rest of them in addition to the completed PDF notes. So this was an example that we didn't get to finish during class after the syllabus review. This is on page 6 of Math 167 course pack. So this last example, we are given the equation of a circle here. Our job is to identify the center and the radius. But if you look at this equation, this isn't in the standard form. Remember in class we went over the standard form of circle. So that will be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Now, if you can, we can write our equation in that form. The center is just going to be HK. Okay, so the center is going to be H for the x coordinate and Y for the Y coordinate, K for the Y coordinate. And remember the other side of the equation. Okay, that's going to be the radius square. So radius is just going to be R. So we did the first couple examples that were already in standard form. And toward the end of our class, we started looking at equations that are not in this standard form, but in general form. So we have to do some algebra to get it in this perfect form so that we can easily identify the center and the radius. Okay. All right, so we did a couple examples in class, but this last one was left, so I wanted to record a short video for us. So take a look at this. We have 4x squared and 4y squared. Notice that both x squared and y squared have what number in front? 4. So we're going to start by dividing all of them, both sides, by 4. So here's me just putting over 4 over every single term. I do this because it helps me to actually see what I'm dividing. So I'm going to do this, dividing everything by 4, everything by 4. Okay, all right, let's simplify. The first term simplifies to, well, because these 4's are gone, just x squared plus, the 4's are gone here, so we just have y squared plus 24 divided by 4 is 6. So we have 6x minus 32 divided by 4 is 8. So we have 8y. And look, 19 divided by 4. I wish this number was 20, right? But hey, we sometimes will run into these fractions. So let's just leave it as 19 over 4. I wish that was just a simple number, but it's all right. We can handle this. Now, 0 divided by 4, let's just write 0 there. So the first step was to divide everything by the coefficient of x squared and y squared, so that 4x squared and 4y squared turns into just 1x squared and 1y squared. Now let's move some things around, okay? Our next goal is to have all the x's in the front, okay? And y's next. And if it doesn't have x or y, we're going to send them to the other side. So take a look. I have x squared right here. I'm going to start with x squared. So write that down first. Next term, I don't want to write y squared next. I want to find another term that has letter x. Oh, here it is. So let me write down plus 6x. So that's it for the terms that has the letter x, right? Now I'm going to write down all the y's, okay? Let me try to write them in a different color. So I'll start with this y squared plus y squared. And I'm leaving a little room right here for a reason, okay? I'm going to put something in there soon, okay? Next term that I want to write is, oh, here, minus 8y. And take a look. Those are all the terms that have letters or variables, right? Now this doesn't have any variable. This is just a constant, 19 over 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the other side by subtracting, okay? But look, when you move or subtract that 19 over 4 on both sides, this positive 19 over 4 now turns into negative 19 over 4. Okay, now the next step that we are about to do is called completing squares, completing the square, okay? We went over this in class a little bit, okay? And we practiced what do we have to add to complete a square, okay? So let's try this one more time, okay? Now, I want you to look at the red, okay? The x's, okay? You always add, okay, well, you start by taking half of this middle number, okay? Now, what's half of 6? 3, right? After that, you square it. So half of 6 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. So what you have to do is you have to add 9 to this x's, okay? The terms for x's, okay? Now, hold on a second. If you add 9 to the left side, okay? To have a balanced equation, you must add that same number to the right side. So that's why I have plus 9 on both sides now, okay? Now, this is a very common mistake because we're so busy trying to complete the square, we forget to add the same number to the right side, but don't forget that, okay? Because if we don't keep up with adding the same thing to both sides, we're not going to get the correct radius, okay? All right, let's handle the oranges now. So look at this middle number over here, okay? Look at just the y's. We always take half of the middle number and we square it. What's half of 8? 4, right? So you square 4, and whenever you square, it's always positive. So there's no reason for you to worry about what sign it will be. You will always be adding a number, okay? So half of 8 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So you're going to be adding 16 to the left side, okay? Which means I also need to add 16 to this side. Woo! It's a lot of work so far. All right, now let us make this a little bit simpler, okay? The reds. This is a perfect square trinomial. Guys, look, we can factor that into x plus half of the 6, 3 squared. Okay, so we're done with the reds. We're done with the x's. Now let's go over to this one. I'm going to have plus sign there. And if you factor this perfect square, this trinomial, you're going to get y. Half of negative 8 is negative 4 squared. And you know, guys, you can use a scientific calculator to do fractions. So let me go open one up. Desmo Scientific. Now for exams, I really want you to have a handheld scientific calculator. But if you're just working on your homework, I don't mind if you use a free scientific calculator online. But please stay away from Mathway or anything that does way too much, okay? A basic scientific calculator will be good. You can use it to, practice and do homework. But I want you to stay away from those like AI-powered tools because you won't be able to use them on your exams, okay? So when I add those 3 numbers, okay, see, I type all this in and I converted it into a fraction. I got 81 over 4. So all good. This is looking good. So we are ready to tell the center and the radius, okay? Now, the center, when you write the center, we're looking for what's being subtracted from x's and y's. So it's always easy to just look for the opposite sign, okay? So if you see x plus 3, guess what? The x coordinate of the center is not positive 3, but negative 3, okay? If you see y minus 4, the y coordinate of the center is not negative 4, but it's going to be positive 4. So always remember to make the signs opposites when you are writing the center, okay? Now let us do the radius. radius is going to be square root of the right-hand side. So look at what I do. I'm going to take the square root of 81 over 4. You know, I almost didn't like this fraction, but when we look carefully, take a look. When we look closely, this is a very nice fraction to be under square root because both 81 and 4 are perfect squares. Let's take square root of both 81 and 4 to get this fraction out of the square root. So square root of 81 is 9 and square root of 4 is 2. So the radius is 9 over 2, and it's easier to actually have it in decimal. I would enter this on ALEKS when you're doing your homework, like exact fraction. But when you are doing, when you're graphing, okay, for example, I'm not sure if homework will ask you to graph this. Well, I think it will because it says then graph the circle. Let's go ahead and graph this right now. So plot the center at -3, 4. So start at the origin. Oh, let me write it over here, -3, 4. And the radius is 9 over 2. What's half of 9? What's half of 9, you guys? This is 4.5, right? I just converted into a decimal because it's easier for me to plot decimal, okay? I can go up 4.5 and plot a point on the circle. But all right, let me show you how to do this graphing. Go 3 to the left, okay? Go 3 to the left and up 4. Right here. So let me plot the center at -3, 4. After that, I need to go up 4.5, down 4.5, right 4.5, and left 4.5. So let me try that. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4.5 up. So I will have a point right there. Okay, let me try the other directions too. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 down and a half. So I'll have another point right there. Let me continue. So let me go to the right this time. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And then the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. There's that one. And then I'm gonna try my best to draw a beautiful circle. Don't try to draw a rhombus. Yeah, that's good. Now guys, when you are doing your homework, on exams, I'll grade your answer, but if this is homework and if you want to know if you got this right, I think a very good way to check your answer is actually graphing it. And in class, I never really got to show you this, so try this with me. Go to Desmos, not Google, let me see, Desmos Graphing Calculator. So if you just search for Desmos Graphing, it's a free tool that I think will be really great if we can use it for our learning. So I will type in the original equation, like the one that came to us. So look, I'm doing 4x squared plus 4y squared plus 24x minus 32y plus 19 equals 0. So I literally type in the entire equation they gave me, okay? And look, they gave us a circle. They graphed it for us, okay? I'm not telling you to jump straight to this answer on Desmos, okay? But once you do your work by hand, and if you want to check your answer to see if you got it right, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot the center. I think the center should be at -3, 4. Is it at -3, 4? Oh, to me, it looks pretty good, okay? I think we're going to have a point right there up at -3, 8.5. And I think we do have a point at -3, 8.5 right here. So I think it's a very quick check, okay? But if you want to graph to kind of have that visual check, okay, before you submit your answer in ALEKS, okay, I think we'll be able to avoid some mistakes, okay? So this was the very last example that we did not get to cover. So I wanted to just record a short video for you, but I will try my best to keep on doing this because if we, in a hybrid class, if you missed the instruction, I don't know, maybe I think videos can be helpful if you find them helpful. So if you have any other questions, just feel free to email me. I'll be posting these on our Canvas site so that you can, use it to do your homework, okay?